Let y'all know who this, how we do this, y'all. We locked and loaded for another episode of FMR Radio, Intellectual Radio. Y'all can't take a pause for that. Open the front doors and back windows, let them know, you know what I'm saying, the show that you cancel, watch Empire Fold. Loaded, you know what I'm saying? Bear with us, or better yet, as we been making history, taking history, and taping history, y'all. We live and direct. Social media, let them know that we are locked and loaded in the spirit of making history, taking history, and taping history. This is your host, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. Also, our co-host maybe joining us, Lady of Rage. You know what I'm saying? You dig in the spirit of Freedom on Radio, in the spirit of continuation, one of the programs of the Black Panther Party into community information material for new ideas, y'all. So let's get the information out there. Cassandra Jackson sees right on, salute right black at you. My sister Chef Harvey in the building. May Jackson, that's what it is. It's good to see that about Nancy in the building, y'all, back to back, y'all. We had a few things, y'all, we can touch on. Y'all seen the flyer. The red line, the latest, not the latest because it's ever developing, which is infamously referred to as Chirac. And a lot of people say, well, got issue that term. So we have an issue with the conditions. We add on to the old saying, which says God created Africans and America made niggas. The mares and the machine manufactured. So what's happening is strategic. You dig? The red line is the same red line I talked about before. We talked about before. You did when the quote unquote after the historical move that was made under the tenure of Mayor Rahm Emanuel that closed over 50 public schools over time, simultaneously shut down the red line, told people they was doing it for remodeling. These are war tactics. When you're talking about, communication, education, transportation, these are, put in the context of war tactics. And just the other day, myself and Brother Joseph Coles, the father of Kiara Coles, we was hitting the community with the flyers about the campaign for Kiara Coles, a sister who's been missing over a year. In fact, her due date was just recently, you know what I'm saying? So the case, the ante is up, not only in the search for Kiara Coles, but also her child. And we was talking about getting, headed back, and we were debating, hit the green line, red. And as soon as me and Joe had left, I look on Facebook, it said stab on the red lines, people saying what's different discussions, open up some cigarettes, so on and so forth. Field Marshal George Jackson, the Black Panther Party, said capitalism not only affects the economy, but it affects the psychic of the people. It not only affects the economy, it affects the psychic of the people. Hearing about now, y'all, you know what I'm saying? It's a different dynamic. You know what I'm saying? People say, well, you be at the wrong place, wrong time. Man, wherever you at, you know what I'm saying? The impact of it. So sister said she was in the from the stress. So there can never be a correct tally, you know what I'm saying, on what's happening, you know what I'm saying, how many casualties, you know what I'm saying, that we succumb to in this war. And so we still paying the toll on the chemical biological for warfare of crack, you know what I'm saying, placed in our community. So again, we want to try to put this in correct context. And this is not to Chicago, for this is a microcosm what's happening everywhere. To the case of the sister in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, you know what I'm saying, of the museum. I can't recall the sister's full name right now. And, and she posed one of the founder or the curator of the African Museum down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm sitting back watching just the automatic responses, you know what I'm saying? They threw they said they got somebody for the case. This dude, they put his picture up there, and automatically, I said, man, if I get a case again, I said, I probably won't give me 12 white jurors from Texas as opposed to some of these Negroes. No questions asked, no investigation. People they be like movie Boondocks. Ask Uncle Ruckus, what's your thought? Guilty. Listen, they talking about the case of Nipsey Hussle. A lot of people who probably refuse to eat their words. Soon, this ain't no conspiracy, so on and so forth. Already discussion, the LAPD admitted he was under investigation, under surveillance. They talking about for gang activity, and they use this to justify taking the property. Everything political. This ties into the dynamic of gentrification, which we refer to as land grab. And a criminal psychologist said the first thing you look for on a crime scene is who benefited. In case after case, we see, you know what I'm saying, after the yellow tape is gone, the blood stains wiped up, the ruling class entities, that's who killing us directly and indirectly. You know what I'm saying? And don't get it twisted. I know that there are some mercenaries in our community who on the payroll for the state, similar to you seen in Liberia in the 1970s. You know, similar to you seen like in the movie Beast of No Nations with Idris Elba. But the deal, check our emotion, check us. Who's pulling the strings? Who's setting these dynamics up? You know what I'm saying? And I know we're supposed to talk about continue on that class contradiction conversation we had last week. If we don't get into it like I want to, because people on my heels, like, Jam, what's the follow up on that? We're gonna follow up on that next week. A lot of stuff can't be planned. Our shows, and you know what I'm saying, and let the record reflect, y'all. We are honored. We are honored, humbled and honored, y'all. We've some of these forces have been, called in with us on the show. We have traveled the same paths and galleries and sale houses, you know what I'm saying, different times. And we would be remiss if we would miss the opportunity to have these brothers online who we got in studio with us now today. I'm gonna open up, you know what I'm saying, y'all see the time, you know what I'm saying. Let them do the introduction. Who we got here, living legends, you know what I'm saying, again, and we talk about subjects again. We don't wait to become a safe subject to talk about these different dynamics. I mean, but a lot of people want to wait to things like I get an analogy, how Wheaties cereal had put Muhammad Ali on a Wheaties box in the late 80s. He said, well, Ali was a phenomenal athlete back then. Why y'all wait till now? And the representative for Wheaties said, we do it now because he's safe. We have people, you know what I'm saying, that, you know what I'm saying, we pride ourselves. We talk about different dynamics, different contradictions, not to do it from a Wikipedia sort of way. In other words, a lot of people can go online and type, you know what I'm saying, and do a whole bunch with Chairman Fred called intellectual masturbation. We have forces who directly were tortured, you know what I'm saying, did the time, you know what I'm saying, still standing, and so seize the opportunity. Like I told you before, we got the widow of Chairman Fred, who was your only friends could be Facebook friends. Okay, I sympathize for you. When you have opportunity to actually interact with some actual people, tangible people, you seize the time. Seize the time. So with that being said, y'all, I want y'all to ride with us, y'all. Again, if you got a curfew, if you trip, if you said tripping, we respect no colonial borders, y'all. You know, so we make it in Ghana, Ohio. You know what I'm saying? Wherever. Again, in spirit of internationalism, we rolling because these contradictions. The names may be changed from these Department of Children and Family Services, the Children Protective Service, whatever the case may be, but these are contradictions we are dealing with all over, and we trying to, you know what I'm saying, find some common ground to heighten the contradictions. You know what I'm saying? Again, heighten the contradictions so it can be clear what's really going down in our community, y'all. With that being said, y'all, again, time, take a pause for the calls. Put the word out there. Freedom on Radio, Intellectual Radio is locked and loaded. 929-477-3785. 929-477-3785. Press 1 to get in. Also, 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. What's that? How we want to start from down there? Listen here, y'all. Again, we've had forces call in. Y'all have seen us, y'all have seen them on not only on different social media sites, but on the ground. This is an era time. People acknowledge people just to say, well, how you know him? Well, I know him on social media. You know what I'm saying? That we know through, and I'm not trying to sound cliche, it's through actual war stories. You know what I'm saying? There's concrete, you can go back and check, you know what I'm saying? See, this will actually happen. You know what I'm saying? So again, y'all, hey, get your memory banks in place. Get your memory banks in place. I want y'all remember who we got here. And you know what I'm saying? Replay this, re-show this, you know what I'm saying? Grab the youngsters, the older cats, everybody to come on in, see who we got here. And then, again, don't hesitate to call in. Cub in with us, y'all. Real talk. Who we got in here? Who we are honored to have in the studio with us?
Well, you got Martin, and today I am employed with the Chicago Torture Justice Center.
You got Anthony Holmes. Spent 33 years in the penitentiary, and I'm surviving, and I'm still here, and that's what counts.
Yes, sir.
Can I do this?
Introduce yourself.
My name is Ollie Ham, a John Burge torture survivor.
Mike.
My bad. Sorry about that.
No problem.
My name is Ollie Ham. I'm a John Burge torture survivor. I'm with Chicago Torture. And the reparation ordinance for survivors of police torture was passed by the City of Chicago Council on May the 6th, 2015, and is a radical and monumental victory which pays redress to survivors of police violence and torture under Chicago Police Commander John Burge. This grassroots campaign formulated a holistic vision of reparations by demanding direct funds to survivors, as well as systemic changes to educate the public and provide care and services to address the very real impacts of the harm caused by police and violence by policing in our community. The Chicago Torture Justice Center is the first organization of its kind in the country, founded out of breaking holistic reparation ordinance for survivors of police torture. The Chicago Reparation Ordinance is a never-before-seen approach to addressing consequences of police torture. Because of the pioneering wind of the Reparation Ordinance, all eyes, local, national, and international, are looking to this work as a model to implement in other communities. The Chicago Torture Justice Center exists as the only organization dedicated to the domestic torture in the country. CTJC opened its doors in 2017 to meet the holistic needs of police violence survivors by integrating supportive services, healing work, and political organizing. CTJC is located in Inglewood and is open to anyone impacted by police violence. In addition to individual counseling sessions with specialized counselors, CTJC provides a weekly support group for survivors of police torture, many of whom are just being released after being incarcerated for decades. The center also offers case management service to torture survivors, helping to connect them to housing, healthcare, and employment. CTJC actively works with other healers to provide acupuncture, healthcare, and employment. CTJC actively works with other healers, to provide acupuncture and craniosacral therapy and other somatic healing treatments to those in need of pain relief or to address ongoing trauma. The center organizes to free the remaining police torture survivors in all of its forms in the city. With the passage of the reparations legislation, the city committed to 3 years worth of funding to support the operations of CTJC. As 2019 comes to a close, CTJC is coming up on 6 months of funding from the city. The center needs a continued and increased commitment from the city to fund their work, to enable them to grow and meet the increasing need and demand for services. Also included in the reparation to fund the memorial memorial. Administration, we are working to ensure that the funding for the public memorial and the Torture Justice. You can visit the Chicago Torture Justice Center at 641 West 60th Street in the English Health Center building. You can also visit the center online at chicagotorturejustice.org and follow us on Facebook. For more about the public memorial, visit chicagotortures.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Daryl Cameron, otherwise known as Captain Sky, recording artist, producer, songwriter, Chicago's own. Actually, I'm here grateful for an invitation by Brother Fred Hampton Jr. to come here today to participate, man. I think it's a powerful cause and that needs to be addressed. I too, back in '91, I was campaigning for Brother Eugene Pinchot when he was running for mayor. And actually, out of the clear blue sky, I was targeted and I was arrested and saying that I committed 6 armed robberies in Roseland. The difference in the actual eventual guy that actually committed the crimes, first of all, I'm 6'7". The guy was about 5'11". That actually, my attorney actually did some research, brought the brother in from the penitentiary, and the brother sat there in his orange jumpsuit and said, I did that. It's really amazing how the Chicago Police Department and the state's attorney's office, man, attempted to railroad this brother who never really carried around a gun in my life. But I guess it was they were trying to close the books. And so I am one who has experienced that, man. And I have a very, very powerful vision, man, to really mentor and provide leadership essentials, man, to young fellas, man, like 7th grade through 12th grade, man, catch them right there, man, and really empower them, man, with information, basically, so they can know what they're up against, and how to not protect themselves from it, but to be aware, act accordingly, and move forward with that. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Glad to have you. Yeah. Glad to have all y'all here.
Thank you. Glad to be here, and thank you for the opportunity.
Sometimes, like we say, everything is political, including words and terms. And a lot of times, people say, "Well, okay, Chairman, some of the words you know what I'm saying, be kind of brutal." But the deal is, we say we got to use brutal terms for brutal realities. And like, there's in our community, you know what I'm saying, a lot of I don't want to draw a foregone conclusion that there are some cats who may not be familiar, you know what I'm saying, about the crimes, you know what I'm saying, of individuals such as former Lieutenant John Burge. And obviously, some people take the position, well, that was a while ago, let's move forward, so on and so forth. And but a war tactic, like even like under the tenure in Iraq, under the tenure of George Bush Sr., after when the initial moves on Iraq, they said there was a populace that existed really, I think, over 78% or something was like under 17 years old. So you really had a majority of people didn't know what happened before then. You know what I'm saying? What's some of the prices we pay for people not knowing about, you know what I'm saying, about what happened to you brothers, you know what I'm saying? Like some people actually be shocked, like, I can't believe the Chicago police did this to stuff that happens today. I'd be like, if you don't know what they don't believe they did today, you have no idea what they did yesterday. Why is it so, you know what I'm saying, that we talk, I mean, that this be acknowledged? Because a lot of people talk, I'm like, there was a big discussion in Nazi Germany. They was saying this is the actual, in fact, my mother comrade, a cool engineer, brought this to my attention, that they said this is the last generation of survivors from Nazi Germany. And it was really stressing the importance of making sure that they, you know, talk about this in their everyday existence. And, you know, Jerry Springer had said something on one interview that something Jerry Springer, you know what I'm saying? But like, even the fact that, I mean, that it's not common conversation about the, you know what I'm saying, that people and talk about the House of Screens, the torture under John Bird. There's not common conversation, you know what I'm saying? In our schools, our poetry sets, our barbershops, our pool halls, that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, why, you know, why is it important to this?
Birds and his crew. They came to my house about between 2:30 and 3 o'clock, between 2:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning, keep the doors in, the front back. I was in the bed with my son on my chair, my daughter laying beside me, my other two kids was in the bedroom. When they kicked the doors and they jumped and started screaming, running through the house. Birds and came in with shotguns, pointing at my kids and stuff. So I stepped out in front. I said, oh, y'all look for me. You ain't got to do that to my kids. So they slammed me to the floor, put it into my head, call me names and stuff. But the point what I'm making is that this is how they did. This was their tactics. And they told my family they was going to take me to 61st and Racine because I was living in Inglewood. Mm-hmm. Instead of taking me to 61st and Racine, they took me to Burnside on 90th and Cottage. Mm-hmm. But after I got there, they put handcuffs on my ankles. They already had me handcuffed. They had me handcuffed behind my back. John Bergman got a brown paper bag, came back in. Inside the bag was a black box. It had a code on it. One of them he put on my handcuffs behind my back, and the other he put on my ankles. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, make a long story short, he proceeded to put plastic bags over my head and told me, said, nigga, don't bite that bag. But I bit it anyway. He bit trying to suffocate me too. So in the process, I bit through it. What ended up happening after that is he put another one on me, which I couldn't bite through. And from that on, it was proceeded to be straight torture because I was suffocated, I was electrocuted numerous times, over 20 some hours, you know what I'm saying? Luckily, my family found out where I was from another police station on 85th and Green, and they sent them over to the Burnside. When they came and they finally got there, but before they got there, Burge had succeeded in what he wanted. He wanted to break me and have me to say whatever he wanted me to say. And like I told them, I said, man, if say whatever you want me to say, I'll say it because I'm tired of being half dead and suffocated and electrocuted. Because I ain't know how it just did to me before. I mean, I'm used to police beating us up and stuff like that. That's where we come in, and that's expected from them. But the sad part is when you tell people what happened to you, they didn't believe it. Yeah. And so it went on. Not only me, but others they went through the same changes. But at the time, I didn't know that others were going through these type of changes. So what ended up happening is, like I said, my family came. They seen me. I was out there bad, and they asked me I want a lawyer. I said, give me a lawyer. So they said they're gonna do that. So meanwhile, Bird, I'm talking about, they sent this officer down beside us to tell me, they're gonna take me in front upstairs to see the state attorney. I've been there and asked for a lawyer. If I do ask one, he's gonna take me back down. They're gonna take me back upstairs and electrocute me and suffocate me some more. But like I told him, I said, man, I don't care. I said, it didn't matter. Yeah. So when I get down now, where the state attorney come in, I'm on one side and he on the other side. And to me, they was laughing and talking and joking.
The state attorney and the police.
Right. And the sad part is that now him or nobody else came on and questioned me, asked me that I want a lawyer or nothing. Yeah. So the only thing I heard him say was, did you get a statement from him? He said, yeah. And that's all I heard. And then they left, he left and took me on back upstairs. Mm-hmm. But in the process of all this here, I didn't realize that it was the officer that came into the room and tried to get them to stop it. I thought it was a white officer because he was light skinned. And I didn't realize it till some years later, actually 33 years later, after I got out of the penitentiary, we was downtown protesting at City Hall, and the guy, black still cut into me. But see, what a lot of people don't understand was Burge didn't have no black officers on his team. All this team was straight, you know what I'm saying? And if they did have a black officer there, they misused him, And anyway, make a long story short, this officer named Officer Walker, he was the one that confronted me and told me that he know me. I looked at him like he was crazy because I know there's no black officer come in that room or approach me at all. So I figured he was trying to cut me down. Man, that was that Friday. Thursday we went down there. That Friday night they had an article in the Sun Times that through push, there was a lady there that she was a writer for the Chicago Tribune, Chicago Sun Times, which was there, and she worked for Push. So what she did was her and Officer Walker talked, and he gave a statement. So a friend of mine called me named Johnny Savior, which all this was we was in penitentiary together, and he said, "Man," he said, "You got a Sun Times?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Look at that paper." So I go. And this officer told me, that he came in the room. I was being tortured and all that there. So then I remember who this guy was when I'm looking at him on the picture. But like I said, I didn't see no black man come in that room because they was all white. And I figured that they was over there laughing. I figured they was laughing at me, but it wasn't. They locked his son up. Got his son sent to the penitentiary. He ended up getting his son out. Got his son relocked back up and sent to the penitentiary. And 2 weeks before the trial, officer died because he's gonna testify at the trial. Just to be brief, and what ended up happening is, make a long story short, I went to trial. I got out in 2003 and 2004, and went there. I went to the trial through Frank Taylor, Joy Mogo, and the People's Law Firm, and a few other attorneys. They was there, and in the process, like the judge, asked me. He said, "Tell us what happened." So I said, "What happened?" So Bird's lawyers and them get to talking about it. Oh, he lied. But the sad part is, when I came downstairs to get lunch, Bird seen me for the first time. And in the process, when he seen me, his food, he spit his food out, like turned red and looked at me. I guess they sent me to the penitentiary saying I done told on somebody. And by the gang chief and all, the first thing they say is, don't listen to him because he's a gang chief. And he probably telling you how studs do different things, but it wasn't like that. When I went to the penitentiary, my brother-in-law and all of them was there, he was the cause I was in the penitentiary, because they said I was supposed to have his witness killed, but I didn't. But still, they look and say, "Man, how can somebody believe that you supposed to hurt somebody, because you told on people, and you don't want in the penitentiary by yourself." You see what I'm saying? And so then what ended up happening is they all embraced me, you know what I'm saying? And and said, "Man, we don't believe that." The Chinese called me and saying, they said, "Man, we don't believe that." You know what I'm saying? We don't understand that. But like I say, I didn't realize that all this had unfolded with my rappers and other studs. They got hooked up. Other guys, part of my crew, all of them got locked up the same way. Not only me, but I'm talking about Stones, Vice Lords. It didn't matter, because Burge had a carte blanche to go through the city and snatch all us off the street, because that's what Daley told him to do, and that's what he was doing.
Daley referencing the former mayor of Chicago.
Right.
We have international listeners. Because we told you heard us reference the Daley machine. So
Yeah.
at the time when Burge, at the time, right on. At the time when Burge was, his heyday, you know what I'm saying? It should be noted that Daley was the mayor of Chicago. It was the state's attorney. Excuse me, the state's attorney. So Mayor Daley Jr. Was the state's attorney, and at the time, I think Dick Devine was like his Frank Nitti to this Al Capone. And just we was turning like the Chicago machine, which it's something like, how complicit. If you go back and look at a lot of these different what type of articles were being written in, you know what I'm saying? This whole is really the propaganda helped set the stage. You know what I'm saying? You got some cases. What's the one's name? What's his name?
Wilson Brothers.
Okay, that was getting all these accolades about he's solving these juvenile cases. He was a part of Burge's team.
What's his name?
He was in particular with the two Kenneth Boudreaux.
Cassidy.
Boudreaux. Okay. And so they were getting accolades about You know what I'm saying? These cases he was solving all these. Noted, I mean, it wasn't just these few bad that was aberration, but this is the modus operandi. You know what I'm saying? That's happening, and I'm just, so I mean the role that then state's attorney who later became mayor of Chicago, Mayor Daley. You know what I'm saying? And this I want one more point about that. Oh, Burge, who was trained. I mean, he wasn't just shooting dice with his tactics. These tactics that, you know, so people say not just atrocities across seas, was getting down right here in the city of Chicago.
Right, he brought it back with him.
Yes, indeed.
And he did us like that.
And you know, I want to, Brother Fred, and
yes,
you know what Burge was able to do in the city of Chicago was reign terror, fear, and incarceration, a form of genocide upon the African American and Latino community. Burge have ever been held accountable for their acts. Me, myself, only being 16 years old, taken down to a police station, called all of these degrading names by police, people who are supposed to serve and protect me. But now I find out that they're grabbing my genitals and testicles and calling me a liar. And now I'm hooked up, that means framed, with 4 murders. And now I'm before a criminal justice system that gives me 4 counts of natural life. And to just find out that so many people were tortured under John Burge and by his subordinates, and no criminal system comes to our rescue, man, that still makes me shake my head now today. Just how we were treated. We were treated like slaves and like pawns and like we really didn't mean anything. And their entire intent was that we would all die in some form behind the prison wall.
Yeah.
But that did not exactly occur. It may have been a brother or two that was executed. I do know at least 2 or 3 that have passed away, waiting on hearings on their claim of torture. But let me tell you, if this was Caucasian children, do you mean to tell me that Caucasian children would be left inside of a prison? There's still 100 torture victims that still languish behind the prison wall. We must change that perspective. And let me tell you, that's one thing about the Chicago Torture Justice Center. We're trying to change that. But let me tell you, the bottom line is we need our brothers and our sisters in our community to join forces with us.
Like I said, we travel, since we held captive in those, and I'm not using this term in no slick sound bite, those concentration camps. And I just, I would say, our position is that Chicago still has a serious gang problem with the biggest gang in Chicago being the Chicago Police Department. And, but you can insert the Chicago police in everything from playing drugs to prison hits, all that. And I recall in Stateville or better yet, Deathville, so many situations, with, Jackie Wilson, was, continuously targeted. I'm just having flashbacks now when we was on the gallery, and, it's like people talking about with the gangs, they operate in the streets and the police, and just like as you Brother Anthony Holmes, as you pointed out, the Bird is kind of like shocked to see you still standing, because the deal is we clear the purpose of prison is not to rehabilitate, it's to break you, right. And in particular those, who have quote unquote crime of surviving, what they've done to them. And I just want commend just to talk about this because I think something they was brought out in Abu Ghraib, Baghdad. They were talking to some of the people with torture. And they was asking people why didn't people talk about that? A lot of them, the people that we were told to talk to was complicit. They was up with the crimes, or just it hurts in being oppressed. And just I want to touch on something also. But the market talked about. Like even because some people try to dismiss this like this is some bad police and they doing it, but the strategic hits like Field Marshal George Jackson talking about how he would cover his private parts when they would take to the police station. When you talk about hunters, they go watch the animal shows. They talking about where to shoot a person, animal at. Just a strategicness. Of birds that the typewriter bag you talked about over your face. They place over your head. The strategicness on how to make sure that to take you out or break what bones to hit. We don't say when to hit your private parts. All this. This is orchestrated. This is again not just some mad hillbillies going. These are strategic war tactics. You know what I'm saying? You talk about you hear about in Abu Ghraib, Baghdad, and the arrogance. Like let the record reflect those photographs of those prisoners in Abu Ghraib, Baghdad. Those were not from the prisoners. Those are the guards who took those pictures. You know what I'm saying? And it should be noted that they didn't go over there. They came from the U.S. You know what I'm saying? And in fact, one of them, I forgot his name. He worked in SCI Green with Mumi Abu Jamal. It was held captive there. But one of the things that said with our people, it's an undeclared war. Like the term genocide became a term when Adolf Hitler did what he did in Nazi Germany with white people. Prior today, it was called Africa Corps. And what happens with us is, it's called war games. You know what I'm saying? And even people in our own community become immune to it. Like, we just get sidetracked where we don't care a gang members, so on and so forth. But if you put these numbers, if you say another community, people was told like a perfect example. The thing about the black sites, when the white dude was taken down to what they refer to the black sites, and this is for those who not familiar with the history of and even the term black sites, where people were taken and ain't no type of police protocol acknowledged on it, take you disappear. They were called whoopee stations when we grew up. You know what I'm saying? It was known. You just go. You know what I'm saying? We in Burge, and so Nancy, you just commented that we should have pointed out that John Burge was not prosecuted for the torture.
No.
So,
They made him, as long as he didn't admit to anything like that, that's where he made a mistake at. See, Burge tortured me.
Yes.
He didn't torture, like the rest of the guys, certain people seen me downstairs in the area. He was with his lawyer.
This is when you brought for the case.
Right. I was going to court for him.
Yes.
And he was surprised to see me, and it shocked him. And food fell out of his mouth. He turned red, and he looked at me like, he couldn't believe I was there.
Yes.
So when I got in the courtroom and I got to speaking on what he did to me, and the first thing he hollered was, well, his lawyer them hollered was, well, they got in the penitentiary and they hooked all that up just to bring charges against him, so they could get everything changed. But then was that he told Burge himself to tell his whole crew, as long as you don't testify to nothing, admit nothing, take the fifth, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Burge laid and talked about that he perjury and obstruction of justice, and that's what they was able to get it on. You're not charged; you're only charged with with perjury and obstruction of justice, because Burge he didn't have enough sense to keep his mouth closed, and that's how we was able to get him. But the thing too is, case attorneys and lawyers and all of them, the judges know what he was doing.
Yes.
I had a judge named Jeruppo. Every time somebody come from Stateville or Pontiac, wherever I was at, he asked me how I was doing. He did this for years until finally, I guess he retired, he died. But the point is, what I'm making is this: they know what they was doing. When I went to court for the murder, they brought a lady he killed the guy and shot my brother-in-law's witness. And so when she come to the courtroom, they asked her, did she know me? She said, I ain't never seen that man before in my life. They gave her to my lawyer. My lawyer said, we don't need her. You got to show us where you got Anthony at on, where you got witness saying he did this here. You got proof that he's saying that. All you got is a plain piece of paper that you done hooked up and said and went against them on. But see, what people didn't understand was this here. I got no probable cause in Brand 66, which is murder court, on this case. They brought this case back and dropped the other murder they had on me. Then I got bonded over. So when I got bonded over, I went to court on the murder. Mm-hmm. So when I get to the penitentiary, they give me 20 to 75 years on it. I get to the penitentiary.
Yeah, how much?
20 to 75.
275 years.
No, 20.
20 to 75 years.
Right. I get to the penitentiary, and in 1976, I get a straight out reversal.
Okay.
Now they come up with a new law that Daly hooked up was accountability. Okay. Accountability means that if you know about a crime that took place, then you're responsible for that. You know, you're supposed to tell somebody. If not, they're gonna give you the same time that the guy would have got for that case.
This came with the Daly.
That come on from Daly.
Yeah.
Daly hooked this up.
Yes.
So when the state's attorney appeal my appeal, they did that and used that, and they gave, instead of me have murder and conspiracy, they dropped it to accountability. And which carried the same amount of time, and that's how they jam me on it. Yeah. So, but still, all in all, the bottom line is, so I did the time, and I come home. But when I come home I didn't realize a lot of stuff had changed, and then the Wilson Brothers case happened, and that started showing stuff that they were done.
What year was the Wilson Brothers? That was
82.
82.
82.
And you, what year were you?
I went to county jail in 83.
Okay.
I mean 73.
73.
Right.
Okay. So 73. So the Senate, you say initially it was 20 to 75 years. This is before 1978. The was referred to as the indeterminate sentences.
Right.
The C numbers.
Right.
That's
a C number.
C number. Okay. Yeah. C number.
And so within, like I say, so I did all my time. And every time I went to the parole board, I tell them what happened. They look at me like I'm crazy. Yeah. So when like I said, when the Wilson Brothers case finally get to hit the fan, it was a domino effect. Yes. It also started helping people on death row. That's when Ryan laid and changed the law and said, look, we can't continue like this here because
Ryan being the former governor.
Right.
Okay.
So we can't continue like this here because of the fact this took place, that we're not sure that these guys is really convicted because they've got these police that's crooked. Yeah. So, and he said, I wouldn't feel right continue standing on them, keeping them in jail. I mean, not so much keeping them in jail, but keeping them on death row. And so they abolished death row. Now, but the thing was, like I said, Daly had told Burge them just keep their mouth shut. That's why none of his cronies was able to get convicted on any of these charges because they kept their mouth shut. And two of them was going to testify against Burge, but them died. You know what I'm saying? So and that's where stand, and so find all of us start getting. The sad part is that I don't have people to come in. We go to speaking engagement. We go to the kids, and like I tell them, I said, look, I'm not here to try to tell you how to live your life or try to make you make any decisions. What I'm trying to do is give you a different approach to where you can survive out here in these streets because the police is killing us. Yes. And y'all are kids, what I'm saying? And if y'all continue to aggressive with it, because what you got to do is be humble. Nothing wrong being humble. But you be humble enough, you lay there and get away from him so he won't hurt you. Go tell your daddy, tell your mama. If you got a teacher or somebody, tell her. If you got a concert at school, the principal might go to that. But on the GP. So therefore, what you need to do is observe, get a badge number, get a name, get a number off the car, and report that guy, you know what I'm saying? But don't let them get aggressive with him. If you're going to go in your pocket, put your phone in your pocket, let him know what you're doing so he won't try to shoot you. Because you don't know what temperament he's in when he come up on you. Oh, he's telling you, trying to give you orders what to do. So don't be aggressive and rebel against him because he can kill you and justify it. Because that's what they're doing. That's what they continue to do. They've been doing this all these years. And ain't nothing we can do to stop that except to get to them before they can get hurt out there in the streets. And that's what we preach and stop. We go into schools and preach on that. That's why it's a survival. That's how we started the speakers bill for that. And so we've doing a pretty good job on it. I'm not saying we're doing the best, but we're doing the best that we can do. We're working with because they limited us too. But the thing is, it's hard when you go to a church or somewhere to a college, and people come to you and say, "Man, I'm sorry that my people did you like this here." And the first thing I tell them, I said, "Look, it ain't that y'all did this here. You got bad people everywhere." But the things of it is, like they said, we hate all police. That's a lie. We don't hate all police because some police is good. And a lot of us is married to police. A lot of us got brothers and sisters that's police. So that ain't gonna work. But if you notice, they always got black police in the white neighborhood. They don't have them in the white neighborhood. They have them in the black. They put them in the areas where they're not needed, but they'll put all the white people in our areas. You know, and that's and this a proven fact. They just like they had a thing out in Facebook about the gloves and the mask. You know what I'm saying? They had a black hands, a mask put over your face.
We're doing actual shootings in
Right.
Chicago. Yeah.
And they what they do is they put a pair of sunglasses on in the natural, and you never know it. And they come down and shoot people. It's like the minister say, you know, it's awful funny that all holidays that this unfold like this here. That, you know, they don't, you know, when they off, you know what I'm saying? It never happened during the weekends, but it always happened during the days that they off. You see what I'm saying? And you know, and it don't make no sense because you got most of your police there. But now all of a sudden, you know, because like I say, you wearing them gloves and you wearing the mask, you go right around the corner, take that t-shirt off, put on the white t-shirt over that, you know what I'm saying? Take them gloves and put in the mask and put it in the bag and go about your business. And you swear up and down, the blacks still there, but it ain't. Yeah. You know,
that might sound far-fetched to some people to be like, I can't, but no, I mean, they, even just, you know, we like when we talk about just the police about to testify against John Burge and they died. This is like when Frank Sinatra said Chicago was this kind of town, he meant it, gangster, you know what I'm saying? And this is Chicago's history is entrenched with such dynamics as the Woodlawn experiment, you know what I'm saying? Where first Chicago, Sears and Roebuck Ford Foundation, and other entities, they set up some crime epidemic in Chicago. I mean, they can be correlated to, you know what I'm saying, to with the French, and Rwanda with the Hutus and Tutsis. You know what I'm saying? How they, you know, created a situation, you know, attack the contradictions. So after the bloodshed, half us locked up, half us in the graveyard, and who got the property, and so on and so forth. You know, you think what's your even like they have a psychological profile on, you know, on which police to grab, like even some of the players involved, infamous Joe Machine Gun Gorman. You know what I'm saying? Burge was not just by himself. He wasn't a lone soldier. He was equipped with a special, like a local Navy, a local Navy SEALs, a hit squad, and Joe Machine Gun Gorman, who got his moniker from the role he played some more 1969 assassination of Chairman Fred and Lamar Clark. What's the coincidences of all, you know what I'm saying? They grab, I mean, the Boudreaux, all these individuals with these psychological, what's the, I mean, they just roll call, say, okay, I want to work with you. What's the, I mean, how was?
See, what they did was, it's just like when we get together, we decide to kill everything that's around and then put it on, you know, like, who knows now? We don't know for a fact how many people Burge and killed or had killed.
Don't know.
What I'm saying? We'll never know. But the thing of it is because like it was a lady that was going with one of Burge's crew, and she told our lawyer Flint that they used to come back and brag on how they used to catch us out in the street at night.
I heard her in court. I heard her talk about that. Yeah.
And the sad part is that
she talked about what said. She how the police, she was going one of Burge's.
Right. And matter of fact, one of Burge's top men, I can't think of his name right now, but the thing is that she said that she told Flint and them this. She said, look, she said that every time they go out, they take off the uniforms and, you know, disguise themselves, and they go out and catch somebody, and, you know, they come back and brag about how they did them or whatever they did to them. You know, if they rob somebody, it doesn't make no difference. That's how they was doing their thing, because they know where to go and where not to go. You see what I'm saying? And if they're on the scene, it's like, you know, you watch some of these cop movies on TV. You see them, you know, they roll down, they'll shoot the guy, you know, and stuff like that there. But the bottom line, like the four brothers with Mark, what's his name? The white boy, they played the role. Anyway, he laid there, and they sent somebody. The police that they be on power, not power, but on Empire. Mm-hmm. He laid there, and what he did was he told his partner, said, man, he said, you know, this woman had came, she came to find out what's going on, and, you know, she even coming out to the police station talking to this other officer, but she talked to him. Mm-hmm. And he intervened and so it took care. Anyway, he ended up killing it and having her killed. And then when the guy that played in Empire, I can't think of his name. Anyway, he played the Empire. He laid down the police. He's checking it. So when he went out in the alley, you know what I'm saying? and throw down on him. The guy take a gun and shoot him,
Mhm.
shot him, and then put the gun on him. Laid that and somebody they called on the radio was a black guy that shot. Shot an officer, right?
Yeah.
And that's how they do it.
Yeah.
But the thing too is it's more in depth where they do it. You know what I'm saying? Than just that. But it's a little ins and outs that they do, and nobody never know.
Yeah.
And so when cause their leg and try to kill us and said, because I remember one time I got shot off a fence because I was running from the police, and they told me I'm supposed they tried to rob this guy, and the guy what he did, he tried to attack me. Because he was the one of them task force they were sent out in neighborhood in Inglewood to create situations.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I ended up getting shot in the arm, grazed in the head. He was trying to kill me, but I did not survive. But the thing too is this here. Each time that we or crime come up, they put them in our neighborhoods instead of them put them in white neighborhoods.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because my kid Park right down the street from them, and they didn't even know over there.
Like everything else, we get the residue. We get the chillings of the food, the bad food,
everything.
You know what I'm saying? They say white people in college camp, they drink the kegs to be able to breathe. The 40 ounces of the malt, they're supposed to get rid of. That's the chilling. So again, psychological profile. It was a piece. Go ahead, bro.
Chairman, let me add something to this here. Make no doubt about it. We understand and know this here, that John Burge did not do this alone. He done all things without others having known about it. Others meaning the mayor, state's attorneys, judges. They knew what was going on. He wasn't by himself in doing these things. He wasn't making these decisions by himself. Even some of the aldermen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not just a John Burge thing. This is not just a city thing. It's a national thing with police violence in our community, and that's what we oppose. But they don't operate alone.
And one thing that I want to rebuttal upon Brother Ali is this. Yes, they knew what was going on. Find me anywhere in this country where that a mayor can apologize for torturing human beings and sending them to the penitentiary, but the individuals are still, at least most of them, still remain to linger inside of our prisons, and not only remain to linger, but our judiciary, our judges, and our state's attorneys are fighting these individuals to not get out. It's like Brother Gerald Reed. Here it is. Gerald Reed wins a new trial back in December. And where is Gerald Reed today? Gerald Reed is still locked up. But if this occurs to a Caucasian child, what we would see is urgency to free that individual from the penitentiary. So that's why I have called it, and still will label it, as political football.
So Gerald Reed and others who were tortured. This ain't no abstract conspiracy theory. I mean, all players involved acknowledge that this torture happened. And so some people. So there are people who were tortured. Gerald Reed and others who are still locked up.
Yes. And let me tell you, there is a Illinois torture Inquiry Relief Commission that initially examined men claims of torture. Well, the bottom line of it is, on the 18th, they are no longer receiving any new petitions before that commission. So what they're telling us in the African American, Latino, and Mexican and Puerto Rican community is that tortures have stopped. And we clearly know that tortures have not stopped within our Chicago Police Department. And that is something that we, the people, we must, address. And before I pass it on, there's also another brother that still remains to linger inside of our prisons. His name is Javan Deloney. Javan Deloney is an individual that was connected with some drive-bys. But the bottom line of it is, did the drive-bys occur? Yes. At the end of the police arrest, were they the right people? No. And that is the problem. We should be entitled to enjoy our freedom and to walk around and to do things like anybody else. But when we do that, we are considered as criminals. So I say it loud and clear, not just free Gerald Reed, but free Javan Deloney and
Right on.
free them all.
Free them all. Right on. It was a piece. Chicago Sun-Times. I think it was John Cass, a nigga by the pound.
Yes.
And it talked about like former state's attorney, later then Mayor Daley's role, and how it was common conversation that, and I mean, case to dog blood, and you know what I'm saying, and I mean the concerted effort, knowing what they were doing. So this wasn't this not no mistakes. I'm saying, and as you said, one of Burge's top men, his lady was talking about how they went and joke about. Mark just talked about who many are still held captive. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the impact that it was not only on you brothers, and I'm sure sisters, that like I said, we don't even know who all, you know what I'm saying, we don't have no correct tally, but generations to come. You know what I'm saying? I want to get some contact information from y'all. I'll make sure we get where y'all at, you know what I'm saying, people touch down, people in contact with y'all who got the latest out, because this again, we talk about this, you know, it's we fortunate and we unfortunate to be able to have for us to talk about this direct again. We ain't got to suffice just for no Wikipedia to go Google this and ask, you know, what happened. People who actually, I'm not talking across seasons right in the city of Chicago, and I want to encourage our listeners, our viewers, seize the time. You know, so this is a conversation that, you know, saying that people are having now. People talking about this, you know, Central Park 5, and I want to correlate this again, you know, to the cases. So, you know, what I'm saying, what's been going on, the modus operandi on how they get out on our community, y'all, and go back and look at your loved ones' cases. Don't you know what I'm saying? I mean, whatever the news put up there, or whatever the police said, I ain't no fan of that state. People say guilty to proven innocent. When they say innocent to proven guilty, who you talking about? You know what I'm saying? This whole, as was the character Jack Nicholson in the movie Few Good Men, the whole court is out of order. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about from the police, it's out of order. The police to the state's attorney, to, you know what I'm saying, to y'all mentioned all the politicians, all the people who are complicit with these crimes. Yep. It's common knowledge. We grew up hearing about, so we heard about John Burge, the torture story. This wasn't no secret, you know what I'm saying? No, this was common knowledge, and it's still, you know what I'm saying, it's known what's going down here. And we got people, as our brothers point out, who are still held captive, y'all. We need y'all to correspond with these individuals. You know what I'm saying? We need to pack these courtrooms in these cases. This is not no. A lot of people wait to. We don't serve cold food or trip on no cold information. This is hot at the place, y'all. It's going down right now. We need y'all to, you know what I'm saying, get in contact with these brothers, get them to your schools, get them to your. It's different between training, being educated. Right. Get these brothers, you know what I'm saying, to y'all schools, to y'all churches, to y'all, you know what I'm saying, your moms, your barbers, your pool hall. Let's have this conversation. Tie this in with your poetry sets. Rappers shouting out these different individuals. Make it rhyme. Talk about, you know what I'm saying, throw Bird's name in it. So put the peel in applesauce. Make this become common conversation.
I think that, man, the problem is definitely apparent. And, you know, it's documented, and, you know, brothers here have experienced it. I think that, you know, we know what the problem is, but I think to move toward a solution is really, really, really where we need to be about. And that's the key. Yeah, that's it, man. You know, because the problem exists. Yeah. Like you said, it's not just history. I mean, it's current. It's good. It goes on right now. So it's just a matter of now, you know, getting down in there and creating a solution, because we are a powerful people. No question. If we come together, and we come together to make a solution.
Let me add this too, brother. Again, I don't want to draw no foregone conclusion that we do know the problem is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we cannot, you know what I'm saying? People say, I mean, like, we got to constantly put this out. I mean, man, in our raps, our poetry, you know what I'm saying? It has to be common out there. Say, okay, they'll say like it's past tense. Like, you know, that was a bad case. You know, John, the COINTELPRO, the counterintelligence program. A lot of people think after J. Edgar Hoover's death, it was over with. You know what I'm saying? John Bird, you know what I'm saying? After his death, people, oh man, it was bad. This is still going. We got people who are still held captive, and the people people on our people they tired of hearing the conversation. How you think Gerald Reed? How they feel? So this got to be something that we got to tie until we go on our dates, on our movies, you know what I'm saying? Constantly, but you know what I'm saying, dropping it. No slight, the Nazi Germany, they ain't drawn. They hunt you down in the hospital. You're 100 years old. They tie this in the conversation.
And you hit it right on the head, man. I mean, it's the same game. It's just different players.
Yeah.
Same game, different players.
It's just
different names.
It's just like I tell people, people fail to realize is what we did here in Chicago through the dry hardships and torture and stuff that we went through. We got a station that laid us in the aisle, that set everything out for us, and we was able to get it passed because our lawyers then went to the UN, and that's what they did. They fought for it. They got it for us. Now it's history. We're a part of history. We're gonna always be a part of history. And the same thing, what I tell people is like this: everybody that's locked up, you know, we out here, we're trying to help you the best we can, but we got to get you out here, get you some lawyers, and have you do the same thing we did. Get out here and peddle what we're selling because it's the truth. And so they can't truth, and that's what hurts them. And that's why I tell people we still here. We're gonna continue to be here. We may not be here in the flesh, but our words gonna be here. And that's what go on. Cause see the kids, like most time you hear about history being made, it's from somebody that's done died. Yeah. But with us, we here is keep and exactly, and that's it. And we here to give you all the information you need, to back you up, to help you the best we can, and to keep you from doing the same thing we did. You know what I'm saying? And don't let it happen to you. And that's what we on. And that's what anytime we come, we're going to be here, you know what I'm saying, and speak on this and continue to speak on it. You know, this ain't just a day thing. It's if we can do it every week, every month, it don't matter. Man. But we're going to definitely get the word out so they have a chance to understand and relate to what we've been through, and that way they won't have to go through it.
And, you know, Brother Fred, one thing that I want to release to the listeners, here it is. We have a mayor now, Lori Lightfoot, okay, that gives $95 million to build a new police academy. And we are dealing with a torture center that only takes a little fraction of funding. You know, the torture center in 6 months could be history. And I want people to fully understand that. Don't sit here and say that, well, that they are going to do something. You got to put your hands and your feet and your mouth to line up with what you claim that you want. And what makes this so historical and having the torture center is that we treat anybody that is suffering from their conditions of incarceration. We deal with people even out of the community that can't get no help. So guess what? We need that center well funded so that we can be effective, more effective than we are. And to Lori Lightfoot, these men all need jobs. Every one of them. You just opened up a office of returning citizens. Okay, well, returning citizens, they need jobs. And there is at least one female that I know of who is Latanya that also taught, and that just went completely under the radar until maybe 2 or 2.5 years ago.
Where's so again, let the record reflect these criminals. They ain't set tripping or gender tripping, y'all. They hit men, women, and children. They all throughout the city, all throughout the country. Where's the torch? Where's it located at in the community and online? How could where people can find online as well as where is it at in the community?
Well, the Chicago Torture Justice Center is located 641 on West 63rd Street. We are actually located in the Inglewood Health building, And like I said, it's right on 63rd Street, 641 on West 63rd Street. And you can recognize it by just going to 63rd and Low. And you said, how can they contact us? Well, they can contact us by going to our website, which is www.chicagotorturejustice.org.
One more time if you can, bro.
Okay. The address for the torture center is 641 on West 63rd Street. And we can be contacted over the web, which is chicagotorturejustice.org. www.chicagotorturejustice.org.
On behalf of the Black Panther Party Cubs, the organization's Can Legacy of the Black Panther Party, we want to definitely acknowledge y'all. We refer to the Harriet Tubman Code. In other words, to be able to come from behind enemy lines, to come from those concentration camps, you know what I'm saying, still alive, you know what I'm saying, to reach back for others who are held captive, you know what I'm saying, because again, we don't draw the foregone conclusion that we come up out of their lives. And say, again, a lot of times some people say, well, I'm out, I'm gonna leave it at that, you know what I'm saying, but to reach back, you know, to talk about these cases and conditions, you know what I'm saying, we commend y'all on that, you know what I'm saying? And these airways are always open, you know what I'm saying? If y'all touch down, we look forward to y'all coming through the Hampton House. I'm officially going to want y'all on deck August 30th, in particular for the Chamber Fair Streets Party. It's definitely December the 4th, International Revolutionary Day. But meantime, between time, and after that, these airways are always open for y'all. Go ahead, my brother.
Okay, and it was just brought to my attention. I didn't give the phone number. The telephone number for the Chicago Torture Justice Center. Get an ink pen. 773-962-0395. Once again, 773-962-0395.
Live yourself on my give us your say we you be I mean you know all y'all still covering current events too. So how also, you know what I'm saying, is in these social media contacts that people can go on y'all Facebook page, whatever?
That's something that I do.
Okay.
And they can contact me by going to the Facebook page of Mark Clements. Clements is spelled Clements. We do have a Facebook page for the Chicago Torture Justice Center as well, right on Facebook. We are on Twitter at Chicago Torture. So we ask that the people take the opportunity, look us up, follow us, and get involved.
Let me add one more
Yes,
thing.
Yes, sir.
And that's about the Lamora. The Lamora we have it's the same thing. It's we're working on that. We're trying to get funds for it. We have fundraisers. We accept all donations. And in order for us to be able to do this is why we on the case with Lightfoot, because she said, you know, she was going to reach out, so we're going to see. And that's when, you know, we want everybody to, you know, understand that we're trying to get to the moral so that you can see exactly what the things that Bridgenham used and the different films from John Conroy, who set it out with House of Screams and Screaming on Deaf Ears, and you know, the part of Chicago Justice Center too.
Yes, it is.
A lot of people like to view Chicago for the, you know what I'm saying, stuffed piece of Al Capone and Michael Jordan. But the deal, this in all objectivity, this Chicago history. This is, you know what I'm saying, you really want them. This is something that you would be remiss if you don't know about. You know what I'm saying? Again, the real blood, sweat, and tears and years of, you know what I'm saying, of this city. You know what I'm saying? Daily referred to Chicago. I think this is Chicago's a great melting pot. And I forgot to mention that main ingredient, oil bodies. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Real talk. Again, y'all, we have been honored. You know what I'm saying? Any closing comments, you know what I'm saying, brother? Y'all want to point out before we leave out. And again, y'all, these airways are open. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have these brothers at the Hampton House, y'all. We're gonna have them on deck August 30th and also December the 4th, and also gonna be there before then, though. Again, we honor. Yes, sir.
I think one of the things you said was key, man. And, and I intend to get involved with the production of songs, man. That really,
I want to
really state.
I need you. He'll get that studio inside the Hampton House.
Because do it.
Right on. That's right on, brother. Respect. Right on. Yes, sir. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah.
All over. Anytime y'all need us, we here.
Right on.
And then all you gotta do is call.
Right on.
We'll call you and we'll be here.
Right on.
So that's how we're gonna do this from now on.
So you're right.
And we would caution you not to wait until it happens to your child.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I just echo off of what Brother Ali just said. Don't sit back like you know the brothers. And I want to let you know, free them all.
Free them all.
Free them all.
Free them all. Jackson, I love you, man. I see you too. Right on. Free them all, y'all. All power to the people. Y'all, this has been another phenomenal episode, y'all, of Free 'em All Radio, Intellectual Radio, the spirit of making history, taking history, and taping history, y'all. Y'all heard it live and direct, y'all. Y'all who retweet this, Instagram, Snapchat, put the word out. Hey, we still standing, y'all. That's what it is. Keep your heads out, eyes on the fist.